Good evening. You're very welcome to the Masters Championship for round number 2 of Division 3 here at Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. My name is Graham and I'll help bring you the action as best I can tonight from a track. Well, hasn't been short of drama in the first 2 races we've seen here in TMC. So hopefully Division 3 guys can give these guys a bit of a display on how to do things correctly. But we'll see how that goes. A couple of laps are flying in, so I apologize that they come through. They've had a few issues starting the stream, so PSN issues, nothing in my control. But hopefully we seem to be okay now. So hopefully we are good. And it is just myself joining tonight, and I'm just going to put Joe Corby on blast for deciding to play golf over this. So thank you, Joe, for leaving me high and dry. I appreciate it. I really do. So, anyways, from everything that we've seen so far, anyways, in the first 2 divisions, is going to be action-packed today here at Baku. So nothing major to really disclose, rather, or kind of housekeeping before we kind of get started. The only thing worth mentioning here before we do the standings is that DJ Williamson and Albin are reserving today because Austin Dude could not make it today. So those are the only change. Albin Anderson is a familiar face in TMC for and so is DJ Williamson as well in the past. So 2 familiar drivers there in the Williams pair. So I'm just going to try and go with someone on a flying. I'll go with Silas here as we kind of go over and try and go through the standings right quick. So after last week's result, bear with me as I get my bearings straight. It is Focky who's leading the way, 30 points ahead of Caesar on 25 and a Synchronizer on 20. Then in 3rd place with Bob Sanford, just behind him in 4th on 18 points. So very early stages, of course. Oh, and there's Silas into the wall. He's lost it at coming out of turn 3 there. So there you go. Boys, he lost of that today. We'll go on board Focky here. In the constructors, it is Haas, as you might expect, leading the way, 50 points. They are 12 clear of Ferrari in 2nd, and then Renault are on 24 points in 3rd. And then Red Bull on 20 points in 4th, and that's how things stand as they currently are. So I guess with all that housekeeping out of the way, we can kind of focus more onto the action. Stevie G is currently pacing the way, 38.7, a couple of tenths ahead of Synchronizer, whose teammate Focky on the set of mediums is coming across the start finish line, and it is P7 for Focky, 40.3 for the championship leader, as Heated then 38.5 for the Alfa Romeo, puts him comfortable little margin there in 1st position. As a Ferrari coming across the line, we're trying to see if that's Caesar start level. It's actually, is he going to? No, he's not got his ERS deployment on, so he's on the side of hard, so maybe just wanting to get these kind of up to temperature, if anything, before even attempting a fast run. So which makes sense because the hards are not a nice tyre, I would imagine, for qualifying, that's for sure. There's a Force Racing Point rather, who's going slowly. That is DeMiles, but he's on an in-lap. There's a Mercedes in front of him, though. Is that Callum Payne on a lap? No, it's Silas, who, of course, we saw whacked his wing on his out lap, and he's going to peel into the pit. So not a ton going on. Then there's a Haas of 4 it's just Focky. Of course, he's not on a lap. Try and pick up someone on a flying lap. Heated, of course, will be on a cool down lap. Bear with me as I try and get something sorted here, because just trying to find anyone on a flying lap. I guess it's, I mean, there's very little to choose from. So kind of, yeah, 10 minutes. Everyone's kind of, well, I mean, some people have done their flying laps, but there's just not a lot going on track at the moment. Hopefully that changes quickly. We can get something going. See if Focky is going to go for another lap on his mediums. No, he's not. So he's just calling it one and done on those mediums. Can we find anybody on a flying lap? Wouldn't say Felice in 3rd place. Yeah, not on a lap. Anyone even getting started on a lap? Iberben Mike. Here we go. Here's finally we've got someone starting a lap. So this is Ferrari. Iberben Mike. He's in 15th place. He had to set time, of course, as he comes out of the very fast straight, and a quick run down then towards turn 2. Of course, 9-degree angles are very inviting, but can see a few accidents. Of course, on cold tyres we've seen that plenty as well, as people are coming out of the pits just understeer into it. and it's very, very simple to do, especially on a set of the hards, or maybe less so the mediums. But we're going to stick with this. He's got a bit of traffic to contend with. Has either been Micas or Williams in front of him. There's a Toro Rosso, and I don't think he'll reach the Renault or the Haas of Synchronizer in front, so he should be good in that regard. But let's see how he takes the infamous turn 8. We've seen a couple. Division 2 just had all sorts of issues trying to get through here. Multiple people spinning out and crashing at turn 8. You just gotta take it easy. Very much a race of attrition, if anything has been proven over the first 2 races there. So, alas, here we go then. And down towards this curb of a turn, I believe it's turn 15, is really unforgiving if you don't get it right. But thankfully for Ivan Mike, he has got that correct and looks set to finish his lap, saving the majority of his ERS for this part here. Overtake mode enabled. See what the Ferrari can do. See whereabouts it puts him on the map. Should go ahead of his teammate, who of course is on hards. Let's see then. It is going to be a 39.3. He moves into the top 6 there. Callum Payne just behind him. So a couple more people now coming through. Anderson beginning his flying lap. There's a car behind them though. Is that Caesar on hards? No, he's coming into the pits. So decided not to. Well, he did venture on a lap, but it was of course without any ERS deployment really. So 43.4. It was just get the ball rolling for him. He looks like then he's setting up to start on the set of the medium tire potentially. If you can qualify inside the top 10. Let's go on more jetty here on a lap. Bit of a wobble heading out of turn 14. Turn 15 rather. Using as much of the curb as possible on the exit of turn 16 then, which is basically the last braking point, even if it's not the last corner, as you whip through 17, 18, 19 and 20 on this little short complex. And then the run down to the start finish straight. What could Jetty do? This looks okay. More than okay. It's a 38.1. It puts him on provisional pole for the time being. There's a Williams. I saw DJ Williams in there is on a, well, went into a 5th there. His teammate is getting closer to the end of his lap, as well as a Haas. I think that's a Synchronizer. 38.9 for the Dutchman. He moves into 4th place, only to be replaced by Sygate there, going up into 3rd place as his teammate begins a flying lap. So a good lap from Sygate there, put himself into 3rd place. Focky just beginning his flying lap. A couple more people coming across the line. I see a Alfa Romeo. Oh, Silas is out of this race, or out of this qualified session rather. Just looks like doesn't look like to be a yellow flag on the track there. As they make their way through. Let's see, Feliz about to start his flying lap. So a lot of people just either ending their laps or kind of just starting their flying laps. Just go further forward. So that's Jetty up there. So he's clear. We just saw Synchronizer finish his lap. So I guess to go forward with CVG, he was actually backed out of his lap because he's got 0 deployment. So possibly a mistake for Stevie G. He was rocking a very nice helmet, I have to say, in that Renault. Red and yellow doesn't always go too well together, but goes well enough there. So it's a nice little crowd here. I think there's Hisha, who I think is at the front of it, but there's also the other Alfa Romeo of Invictus, and I think Caesar is there as well. On an outlap on soft, so I'm not sure what the hard run was all about, but maybe he decided that he wouldn't be able to do a medium run with everyone doing soft, so perhaps maybe that was the reason why he decided to just go from hards to the softs is the word I'm trying to look for. So let's see what he can do then. 38.5 is his fastest time. He's 4/10 off of Jetty. So he unwinds onto the slingshot section. That's exactly what it's like. As he runs down towards the finish line, and just under 5 minutes then, so this is going by fairly quickly. Let's see what he can do. Oh, he's going to actually pull into the pits. He was just about to run out of ERS there, I know, but he's going to pull into the pits. Where is Caesar on an out lap? He's just beginning his lap. I have to keep an eye on him. He'll be one to look out for today. I would say for these though, he's on a lap. He's coming to the end of it, coming down this long back straight, and he moves himself up into the top 5 with a 38.7. There's a racing point flying down that straight as well. This is Tom Chad on a set of hards. Be interested to see if he can get inside the top 10 here. I don't think he's going to. It's a 42.2 for Tom Chad. So perhaps not the tyre of choice for qualifying. Maybe he's warming up for a set of softs. Who knows? Well, I believe Stevie G will be on another flying lap. Yes, he is. We'll go on board. As he makes his way through turn 13 and 14, and in the braking zone of 15. He's actually backed out of the lap. Possibly went wide on the exit of turn 12, possibly. I know it's possible you can do there. There's a Haas behind. That must be Focky, who's also backed out of his lap. So a lot of guys just backing out of their lap. So we'll go forward with Caesar then. It's the next best thing we have to do. As he heads down towards turn 16. See what he can get himself into. Not yet to sell. Oh, well, he said lap time, but not representative lap time, of course. 38.1 is the time to beat for. See what he can do. Could just sneak himself. There's a nice little gap between himself, like kind of jetty and heated there. Might sneak in there. He's just behind it. He's 200ths of a second behind. 38.5 for Caesar. It puts him into third place there onto the second row of the grid. So not a bad job from him. But I'm sure we'll get another chance, will he, if you can get the car back in time. Maybe not. 240. We'll see. Here comes King Alex. Haven't said too much about him, but looks like he's just starting his flying lap. 140 is his quickest time. His teammate, of course, is on provisional pole position. He's actually on an out lap. And you know, there's nothing else happening here, so I don't think there's anything else going on. Like Big Shota is on an out lap. Heated, he's on out lap. So we're going to go on board with a lap with Jetty, fully on board, and just see how the current pole sitter is approaching this. Well, as it turns out, extremely difficult track for the drivers. Big Shot will go through, but he'll start lap first. I'm not sure Jetty knew that he was actually on an out lap, but alas. Well, we'll keep up with Richie. Obviously, he's just in front, but we'll go on board with Jetty. And if other lap times come in, that's just fine. But everyone else is getting ready for their final run. You can see a nice little crowd emerging out of the pits there. 2 Haas's, the Renault, there's a Red Bull as well. So all getting set to end this qualifying session. But here we go then with Jetty. Wide entry into turn 1, very, very wide. Just want to scrub as little off as possible using the outer limits there of turn 1 into turn 2. Not wanting to take too much of the curb. As he unwinds then onto this long straight to second DRS zone, of course, before you have another 90-degree corner. Oh, cooks it a little bit. It's going to compromise his exit of turn 3, so I'll set him back a little bit, and then coming through this section of turns 5, 6, and then head down here towards turn 7. And I wonder if he's backed out of it. He's still, I think he has backed out of it. Yeah. Yeah, he's off the throttle, and yeah, that is going to be it for Jetty. But he has set the benchmark. It's a 38.1. Oh, his Big Shot is into the wall at turn 8. And how will this affect everyone else coming through? Most of them are on out laps, and Big Shot retires on the track there. It'll be interesting to see who gets caught up in trying to navigate that. I believe Sygate's actually on a flying lap, so he's going to be the first one to do it. And his lap has been completely ruined by obviously having to try and well, kind of appropriate what to do in that scenario where the car goes on. I think Heated in the same position as well. The car is now cleared, but I'm not sure. I wonder how pleased the other drivers might be of that. As DJ Williamson's get the entry to turn 3 all wrong, turned in too quickly, and he has crashed into the entry there. Turned in, but check flag is out. So I believe this is Jetty coming across the line. He won't be setting a time. Sygate I don't think is going to improve either. So maybe we won't see a whole lot of change here. I don't know if, I think Heat was affected by that as well. So a lot of people have been pretty disrupted by happenings here on the final qualifying lap. But again, Albin Anderson doesn't look like he's running in. Oh, synchronized him to disqualify from the session, facing the wrong way. So he's going to lose that 8th place, then that's a shame. We did see him off the track, but didn't realise he would get disqualified. That's unfortunate, but I think he's back to the grid for him. So you can pick up someone. Here's Invictus, who actually might get a chance to finish his lap. And he does with a 40.02. It's slower than his previous time, so he's not going to do anything there. Running on very minimal ERS is King Alex. I think it'll be the last one to finish here. There he goes into the top 10 then, but on 2-lap-old tyres that might not be the best. So Mike is not on a flying lap. Where is Focky then? Focky's on a lap. He could have upset the party here. It's a very anticlimactic qualifying session because of well, everyone's just not through one way or another. Just people haven't got it hooked up on this this last run when it counts. And he's run out of ERS quite early, but is that going to keep him from being on pole position? Yes, you could say 38.3 slots into second place there. Does Focky unsafe release then charging behind 4/10 down his lap though, so he's not going to improve. The Williams then, that's DJ Williams. He's coming into the pits, and I believe the where's first Caesar? He's coming into the pits as well. So I believe that's going to do it then. So not a whole lot of change then. Focky got himself up to second place in the end, and there you go. That was basically a very anticlimactic session in the end. But it is Jetty who's going to take pole position ahead of Focky. If you have any predictions on who is going to win, how this race might unfold, if you've watched the previous two races, anything and everything will happen. I hope you. I kind of didn't realize how long I could be here today because there's going to be a few safety cars, I'm sure. So I may get myself ready, so to speak. But there it is then. Session is so Jetty then ahead on pole position there, 2/10 ahead of Focky in second. Heater then in third. Caesar then fourth. Psychic then rounded out the top 5 in fifth. His teammate CVG just behind that, unsafe release in seventh. Abel Anderson 8th. King Alex 9th. DJ Williamson 10th. And then I've Mike, Callum Payne, Invictus, DeMiles, Tom Chad, Bomber Sam first, Silas, Big Shotter, and then Synchronizer round out the remaining grid. So, I mean, yeah, if you could try, I mean, good luck trying to predict it. Because yeah, it's futile. It is dry, so at least we have that. Could you imagine this race in the wet? I don't want to. But we shall see. So strategy will be fairly straightforward then. Of course, pending safety cars, because of course the strategy you intend to kind of run through. You basically, I mean, what is planning? I mean, you can plan all you want, and it matters very little because yeah, safety cars are going to dictate plenty in this race. And VSCs, of course, but I guess to a lesser extent. But here we go then. See who's I mean, Reach. Like why? I guess if it was me, I'd start on soft inside the top 10, and well, no one's going to do it because wow, that's surprising. That is legitimately surprising. So I've been Mike. I'll explain in a sec. Invictus, DeMiles, Bomber Sanford, Silas, and Synchronizer are all on mediums, whereas a few people have taken the plunge on hards. Oh, there's a car in the background there. I think that's Invictus, isn't it? A couple of people taking the plunge on hards. Callum Payne, Tom Chad, and Big Shot. And now, who's been disqualified from the qualifying here. So, oh, he's not the only one. So the reason for that, so I say, look, why wouldn't you start in softs perhaps? Because there's going to be, if happy to be proven wrong, but I'm going to guess it's going to be a safety car in the first 4 laps. That is just going to be a guess I'm going to hazard. So, which means, if it gets to the 4 laps or so, everyone can balk off of those softs almost immediately, basically. Now, would you? I'm not sure, but I mean, you're all going to be running very close anyways. I don't know. I go with softs or hards and then see what you can try and make up, but yeah, strategy is just a nightmare here with the carnage. I guess it comes down to how well can you do to avoid other people's traffic. Some people have a kind of a a tendency is the word I'm looking for, to get involved in other people's accidents. Other people manage to find ways to avoid it somehow. For me, like, I was one who managed to somehow avoid chaos a lot of the time, and that worked out really well in some races. But certain people tend to end up in incidents more than others. And of course, there is just bad luck. You could be at the wrong place at the wrong time, but I guess that's what it comes down to: is can you avoid other people's accidents? Can you avoid your own accidents? And, well, how lucky are you? If you can tick all those boxes, then who knows what results could be waiting for you here today at Baku. I think it's kind of fair to say, like, look, even I'm struggling to try and find words to attach all the variables to this race, because there's just far too many. So I guess the only thing to do is just to allow the chaos to unfold. And, well, 26 laps later, we will have a winner of some sort. It might take a while to get there, but I'm sure we will. Short run down to turn 1, which will help Jetty. Fuck, he's not too bad off the line. So let's see then how this goes down. I apologize. Look, before this kicks off, I apologize in advance if I miss an incident or two. Look, frankly, I'm not going to be able to catch every incident. There's just no way. So I can only apologize in advance, especially on my own. So here we go then. 26 laps of fun around Baku. Let's get to it. We'll go on board with the heat at the start here. Here we go then. 4 lights, 5 lights. Oh, CVG's given a jump start. Penalty, drive through for him, but away we go. Looks like a good start for Focky. Will he get down the inside? No. So he seemed to make through. Let's see then. Oh, Toros onto the wall. It was King Alex. He's into the wall. He's lost part of his front wing. So now trying to minimise the damage from that as we get through unsafely. A little squeamish there. I think he may have made contact with the barrier, but Focky is ahead of Jetty. Of course, CVG will race off into the distance for now, but Focky going defensive. It's going to be hard to drive around the outside if you're Jetty and a little bit of contact with the wall. We've got a couple. Oh, there's a big traffic jam up here, absolutely monumental. And the virtual safety car is out. I have no idea what happened, but a big that's like half of the grid piled up there, and only a VSC. That's incredible. Wow, that is wild. So DJ Williamson is a big loser here, obviously, but yeah, that was a lot. So I'm guessing there's some sort of traffic jam. At least it allows them to get through. Well, at least allows Focky and the leaders here to get through turn 8 for the first time, at least relatively unscathed. Let's see when green flag racing is going. It's right now. Let's see if anyone follows into the turn 8 barrier. They all seem to get through relatively okay. Of course, coming after that VSE, so no major casualties then. Turn 8 at least for now. But Focky then is the effective race leader. Having got the jump there on Jetty as they run down towards turn 16 for the first time. When will CVG take this penalty? Because I don't believe you can serve drive-throughs under safety car, so you might want to get that out of the way as quickly as possible. There's a couple of changes going on down the field. We're going to stick with here though for the time being. Oh, a bit of understeer there for Jetty. Does he have wing damage? No, wing look okay. I'm wondering if that may have caused him to understeer into that wall, but he's going to try and reel Focky in. Again, I see Bomber Samper ahead of Callum there, but we're going to stick with this. And yes, CVG is serving his drive through this lap then as King Alex is trying to... He's got Renault in front of him of Cygate. Oh, he's been pinched and there's an accident between the two of them. That was always likely to happen. Now, can they avoid the rest of the cars behind them? Avoid. Looks okay as they get through then. So yeah, that was an ever closing gap that just wasn't going to work out. I don't want to judge too much on the incident itself, but because again I don't have the chance to see it, but there we go then. So DJ Williamson, big shot at Callum Payne into the pits. Mediums for all of them except for DJ Williamson. So as Tom Chad and Silas side by side. Tom Chad, where is he? There he is, side by side. Almost 3 wide there as Stevie G is trying to get into the fray as well. Oh, contact, he's at the back of Tom Chad. And then Silas is there as well. More contact, and that sends Silas into the barrier, and his wing has come flying off as well. So absolute, well, maybe as you'd expect. Oh, and Bomber Samper almost outbroke himself there. Hit into the back of Stevie G as Synchronizer gets by. Oh, he's into the wall. Synchronizer, he's overcooked it. And he's into the barrier just before turn 8. Still somehow no safety car. I'm absolutely amazed because there's probably wing everywhere. There's been 1,000 accidents, but we're still going somehow. Just the VSC so far as Focky then holds a 5/10 lead over Jetty. Of course, DRS has not been enabled yet, but maybe Focky would actually be in his best interest to let Jetty go, and then for the next lap he would have DRS. If, of course, he can avoid not letting Heated through as well, but he might not have a choice because Focky actually has gone into zero deployment, so has Jetty. So maybe a bit of gamesmanship going on there as Heated sets the fastest lap of the race, almost hitting into the back there of name Jetty, that's the word, I think. Kilian coming into the pit, and he sped into the pit lane for good measure as well. So penalties coming flying in then. Plenty of pit stops, plenty of comments flying in as well, so I'll try and read those as soon as I can. A safety car would be a good opportunity to do so. So more pit stops then. So again, there's the pit stop situation. Everyone from 13th downwards has made a stop. And where is the position change? There we go. You can see some of the high risers, including Tom Chad and Bomber Sanfer, into the top 10. There's some good stuff from them. But for now, if anything, Jesse's lost a little bit of ground this lap on Focky. Now Focky can pull out another 10th or so. Be looking very pretty there to escape the clutches of DRS. Bit of a gap forming between Caesar and Unsafe Release. It's basically this top 4 here. Caesar's just about hanging onto the fray here. But what won't be helping him, of course, is that he won't have DRS, unlike Jetty and Heated, and that might hurt him later on. Jetty coming very close to the barrier there. Let's see then. So first lap with DRS enabled, I'm expecting Jetty to go through, maybe Heated as well, but we'll have to see. You can see a couple of stragglers there who have, of course, made pit stops on the reverse side there of the track heading down towards turn 7. And here we go. Heated over a second behind, but had he got DRS is the question. As Jetty moves by, he does have DRS, but he is behind by over a second, just closing then. And Caesar then 2.4 now behind Heated. So again, you can see by the look, with such a long back straight as Bomber Sanfer. Oh, he thought he was going into the pits for a second, but he's just getting a move done on Tom Chad, and that's for P8. But he is, of course, on medium tyres. Tom Chad is on hards, and that is, of course, bearing a lot of considerations. Focky isn't able to get the place back. He's got to save some ERS for the big straight, of course, and that allows Heated to close up the back as well. Sygate into the pits. Second round to be serving, and the VSC is out. This big shotter is out of this race. There he is. He's lost it coming out of the slingshot section. So another VSC then, and that's going to work out well for Alex here, who's making another stop here on the hards, and Sygate, who's actually, it won't have helped him too much. He's actually just coming out of the pits. So yeah, 2 VSC so far, and we're not even on lap 4 yet, but no safety car somehow. No full course caution, so that's an interesting one. But again, it allows these guys to kind of go through turn 8 again relatively unaffected, and can Caesar make up some ground here on this VSC? We'll have to see. 2.7 he is behind Heated, and Focky and Jetty, of course, close by as well. So a lot of people on the hards. Seeing Tom Chad the highest of them in 9th place. And I wonder how quickly we'll get under racing here again. Here we go then. So that answers that question. Now, will DRS be enabled immediately or will it not? We'll find out here in just a second, but of course the top 3 will be in range of each other. Caesar's a little bit further back. He just needs to hold on, basically. It's probably in the safest position in many ways, that he doesn't isn't in the immediate path of should anything kick off between these 3, but I don't think anything's going to kick off this lap other than he should dive into the pits on lap 3, or lap 5 rather. Sorry, he's got 5 laps on those tyres done. And Caesar heading in as well, as CVG pulling on the left hand side to overtake Albin Anderson. Then he moves into P4 then, of course, with Heated and Caesar pitting for the hards, and they should go to the end. Now, if a safety car were to come out now, that would be pretty devastating for Heated and Caesar, but we'll see. Anything is possible, of course, at this track. But relatively speaking, rather straightforward so far. Plenty of time for that to change, however, as Focky here trying to save some ERS behind Jetty, but Jetty's actually got more ERS on his side than Focky does, so just has to keep close enough. Maybe hope for a mistake. Corner cutting penalties are difficult to kind of come by in this track. Basically turn 7 where Focky just passed is your closest bet. And then nice and smooth into this turn 8 complex, using a curb on entry and exit. Beautiful stuff. as I think Focky is only in the hot laps. He wants to try and he wants to try and close up the gap a little bit before the DRS zone. Slowing down. Oh, has he overcooked it? No. Oh, but Jesse has got into the wall. I didn't see any wing fly off there, so he might have gotten lucky there. And it looks intact. So again, that's all it takes though. It's just one innocent trip across that curb. And that is curtains. But speaking of curtains, I think we're going to see another change of lead here in just a second. Oh, fuck, he had to lift off there for a second. I wonder how conscious they'll be of the undercut. If they'll both come in, will one just come in? Looks like Jesse's coming in. Oh, the fake. Ah, interesting. So I thought Jesse was going to come in there, but what he does do the opposite, essentially, is what happened there, as Bomber Sanford is going to have a look to go at Ab Anderson here. For P5, which should come P4 once they pass Focky, and then Stevie G then coming into the pits as well on his soft compound tires. Then Bomber then up into the podium places. Bomber Sanford has another great race here so far. See what emerges from this. So there's Caesar, there's Focky, so he's been jumped by Caesar then. Whoa, understeer, he just slows down in time. Just about, so there's 4 seconds then separating Caesar from Heated. And there are 2 seconds, I don't know if Focky may have changed his wing or not. Caesar wasn't that far behind, no I don't think so. I think it's just they've lost that much time with undercuts. I think is the dealio. As Heated is putting Tom Chad under pressure. I wonder if he'll just let him go. Tom Chad takes a defensive line. A bit of contact, but thankfully nothing that sends him into a wall or anything. I think P5 is Tom Chad on the hards, but yes, his race will be interesting to see, but he's struggling a little bit here. Because, well, struggling relatively speaking to the fresh tyres of Heated, of course. But it shouldn't make too much of a difference on final lap old hards. So maybe he's just struggling for a bit of general grip. As they slow down towards turn 15 once again. Very slow entry, of course, there for Heated. And let's see then, well, Jesse should come into the pits. Excuse me. No, it doesn't look like it. So he's carrying on there for another lap. Maybe waiting for a safety car? Because I think at this stage he knows that he's going to be jumped. What does unsafe release do? He's a bit further back as DeMiles picks up a 3-second penalty there. So I think unsafe release is going to peel in from second, and that will allow Bomber into second, I should say, and Heated then gets the move done pretty quickly there on Tom Chad, who wouldn't really want to have fought that too much. So save some ERS there. As Ab Anderson, struggling. Oh, Tom Chad's got into the barrier. Has he lost part of that front wing? I did see a flap in there. He has. He's damaged the left-hand side of that wing, and it's going to be tough for him on the hards. Will he limp it out? Will he try and put on the set of mediums and try to go to the end as Heated there moves by the very struggling Albin Anderson there, who was really struggling coming out of turn 1, you could see beforehand. So where is Focky? The 810's behind Caesar. Try and move through the traffic then, so that's what Caesar and Focky will have to try and do. Got Albin Anderson and Tom Chad to try and get through, assuming they don't pit, of course, before they reach them. That might help Caesar and Focky somewhat. But early days as of yet. So the gap then, there it is, 20 seconds between top 5, Tom Chad to Jetty, and then from Jetty then to Heated, it's 17 seconds. So fastest lap as well going to Heated, so you get those extra points for the time being. Now let's see then what Jetty decides to do. Lap 7, heading on to lap 8. Tires are still fine by the looks of it. No give in terms of any kind of drop off heading through that slingshot section. He took it at full throttle, and he's going to come in this lap. So in he comes then, a good few laps later than the other trio of Heated, Focky and Caesar then. Speaking of, Albert Anderson's had a little brush at the wall, and that's going to allow Caesar, who just got by Tom Chad, to get through as well. Now where's Focky and all this? He's gone by. Albert Anderson's got I think he's got a puncture, has he? He's got left rear puncture? Yes, he has. Wow. That's unfortunate, but I guess he's lucky to be in the race still, to be fair. And into the pits he comes. Wow. Left rear puncture, so some people may have definitely got away with that, including Jesse there. Oh, he's gone into the wall. He hasn't got away with that. That's a big hit with the wall. I didn't see any wing immediately fly off there. I need to see if surely that would have damaged it. as Invictus there going down the inside. Yep, definitely. I didn't see a fly off, but there's definitely damage. And that is Jetty's chance at this race win. I think very much up in flames. Those hards, we mentioned it in qualifying, and even I think at the start of this race, if we didn't mention the qualifying, it's so easy to understeer into a wall there on the hards coming out of the pits. And there you go, then that is your end result. Jetty then is going to have to come in for another stop, and well, he's going to have to hope safety cars then are the ones to save him. So Tom Chatter battling with Callum Payne. A VSC then is deployed. For what? I am not sure. No one is close enough to the pits to make this kind of work, apart from Silas, who's in there anyway. So Bomber Sanford is leading this race on those mediums. Ahead of Heated then, Caesar then in third, Focky in fourth, Invictus then, who's yet to pit in fifth. Let's actually just clarify that. There you go. So I've been Mike, Invictus and Bomber Sanford, the only ones yet to make a stop. Everyone else has made at least one stop. Here we go then, we are racing once again. And see Focky there just behind Caesar. He's just in that second range, so he will get that benefit of DRS, but he's not going to be able to make an overtake, I don't think, unless Caesar's running zero deployment. And yeah, he is not, as Synchronizer gets by to Miles, who's very slow off of that restart. So there's a place made for him as he gets closer to the back of that leading McLaren. He saw McLaren left. Big shot up, retiring from this race. As Jetty then, yep, comes into the pits rather inevitably. As looks like Tom Tad trying to make a move on Callum Payne. He's not got a lot of ERS. I wonder actually if he's coming into the pits. He's definitely much slower here than DJ Williamson, who is coming through. Tom Chad's Callum Payne's looking for pace here as well. And he's got wing damage on the left hand side there, so that's why he's going slow. As Tom Chad comes into the pits. 2 racing points actually into the pits then as well. Jesse putting on a set of medium tyres, so at least catch him somewhat, well, give him something at least. But I think a safety car will have to come out here to save him. I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat at the moment. So no safety car, no full course safety car then. We're heading on to lap 10. As we will be, I'm sure, making another pass here. But this one will get him back into the lead of this race. So Heated is looking quite good here. Now that Jetty is out of the equation. And then you got Caesar 3.4 seconds behind. And then Focky just under a second behind him. So there's your big 3 for this race as it currently stands. Is Heated, Caesar, and then Focky. And then next close, I believe, is Unsafe Release after that. He was in 7th place on a set of hards, and CVG not long behind him. So that's where things stand. 9-10 stands the gap, so Focky will get DRS, but he's going to be too far back to really make a move, unless, again, yeah, I think Caesar can run a bit more comfortably on these yellow flag sector 2. Oh, I can. There's Callum Payne. He's out of this race. Oh, there it is. The exit of wow, heading down towards turn 15. That's interesting. I wonder if he's had contact with another car. No safety car for that, which is a little wild. As Unsafe Release gets by Iver Mike, who comes into the pits. Yeah, wow, who speeds into the pits as well. Yeah, no safety car for that, which is wild. As down the inside goes Heated on Bomber Sanford. And that move was going to be a given to make. And will Bomber fight that back? No, does not. And he slots into P2 then. I think we've had a car in problems there with the turn 8 hair. I think that's Sygate actually, or Silas. Yep, end play is missing on that side, so he's definitely struggling. I did see a yellow flag in the middle sector around that area of the track, so that would be what that was, with a lock up there for Caesar. But he does avoid the wall at the very least. As Focky then continues to give chase then. Interesting to see where Bomber Sanford emerges after his pit stop. You can't go into another set of mediums, of course, which is the one disadvantage now for anyone. Well, I say anyone. It's Bomber Sanford and Invictus who are running 9-lap-old mediums. That's their one disadvantage, is that they cannot put on another set of mediums because they haven't, of course, made a stop. There you go, and they've yet to use another set of or compound of tyre. So if a safety car were to come out now, the medium probably would be the tyre to be on, given the time to actually behind the safety car you serve and then back out, etc. We'll go to the end of the race, but they won't be able to do that, sadly. So a safety car from now would really screw them over. Focky, meanwhile, is a little bit closer now to Caesar than he was on previous laps. Rather, will he go for it? Thinks better of it. Runs very close to the back of that fire, but thinks better of it. And Bomber Sanford got pretty close there to the back of Heated. Got to around 2/10 or so, or 3/10 heading down that main straight. So using that using quite nicely there is Bomber Sanford, the DRS to his benefit to keep with that leading car of Heated. That's why Caesar hasn't really caught up a ton. So that's worked out quite well for Bomber Sanford. If he can continue to do that, it will certainly to be his it'll certainly serve to his benefit. He's Jesse there. He's just set the fastest lap of the race. Like sector 1, there's a Mercedes in the wall. That will be Silas. There he is, and he has retired from this race. And everyone should slip through there relatively unharmed. Oh, and into the barrier goes De Miles there. So more problems through turn 8. As a front wing missing there, that would have been I believe the front wing of that Racing Point. It may have looked like heated for a sec, but I can assure you that front wing is very much still in one piece, and there's no retirement. De Miles then has retired from this session on the track, I believe. They've just gone past him there. Another VSC as Heach picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. Ooh, that could be interesting. He's got the gap for the time being, but another VSC now. How long will this last, and where? Will Bomber Sanford come to the pits if the VSC is still in effect by the end of it? Choices. Well, DRS isn't there before he does so, but he is coming into the pits anyways. And so that removes him from second. That's just a time. He's just worked out a little bit there unfairly in his favour as Focky then getting close again to the back of that Ferrari. But nothing doing still. And he's trying to save up on his ERS, as is Caesar. It's a constant harvest here. And then just hell for leather on the straight, so either attack or defend. But the gap of 3.6 seconds between Caesar and Heated. Now Heated has a penalty, so worth bearing that in mind as well. Now, where's Bomber Sanford going to emerge? He's merging in P6. And wow, a long way ahead of 7th place Sygate. So that's going to work out quite nicely for him. If he can keep it together, it'll be another top 10 result for Bomber Sanford. And that would be big for the McLaren team. So piss up with CVG. He's coming in there. Just coming out on mediums. He's going to appear in 11th still. Looks like he's just going to nip there. It's very, very close. Actually, we'll go on board with it. Very close. He has just emerged just in front of Albin Anderson, who has got DRS, but he is not using to use the not electing to use the higher deployment modes. That could have made his life a little bit easier for an overtake there potentially, but remains in P12 for the time being. Lap 12 or 26. I am in disbelief as yellow flag at sector 1 has either been Mike, who has missed the corner there at turn 3, but has got all of his front wing by the looks of it, so he should be able to just carry on by the looks of it. Now then, how close can this potentially get? Again, Focky and Caesar. 4/10 before we activate the DRS. This looks good for Focky. I have to say it's probably the closest he's going to get, and he has been. I wonder if Caesar's actually going to bother. Yeah, he's actually just knocked it down, so he's going to allow Focky to come through and then try and stick with him. And there you go then, as Focky into P2. Bomber Sanford is going to go for a move here on 5th place. Invictus pulls over to the right hand side and gets that move done. Will Caesar try and get immediate revenge on Focky? No, he's going to be too far back as Invictus comes into the pits on lap 13. Of course, be lap 12 for him. Let's ditch those. Oh, Focky's made contact with the barrier of turn 3. Will Caesar? Oh, he's going to think better of launching it up the inside. I don't think Focky has any damage. We'll have a try and get a look. I don't think it will have damaged him, but certainly we will give him a bit of a scare. Yeah, wing looks okay. So I will get that. This all helps Heated for sure. Now he's 5.8. He's 6 seconds clear up the road. Close get another penalty, and well, he can now basically, and he'd be fine. So, yeah, pulling away at the front is Heated. I don't think anyone behind has a response. Unless, of course, safety car or something else comes out to bring the field closer together. Yellow flag at sector 1 as Albert Anderson. He's missed that area out of turn 3. Will he sneak out there without damage? He will. By the looks of it, well, I'm just saying, really, lap 13, where once Heated crosses the line here, will be officially a half distance. And looks like Caesar then going to try and make an immediate reply. Bomber Sanford also looking to try and make a move on unsafe release. There goes Caesar, he's through. And here comes Bomber Sanford. Going to try and take 4th place off of unsafe release. Look at this. Flying down that straight. No, the unsafe release has a defence for this. There he goes. So that McLaren is absolutely flying. Yeah, he did the P4. There you go. Now he's 46 behind Focky and Caesar, but a very good result on the cards here still for Bomber Sanford, who of course will be able to go to the end. He's done an excellent job there. Strategy's worked out well for him. Of course, with this as CVG there going by synchronizer, I'm going to stick with this though with battle for 2nd place here, especially coming up to the castle section. With the look, just being able to, that strategy's been able to work really well because, yeah, the VSC has been the only safety car to come out, and because of that, strategies have had a little bit more time to breathe than the other divisions, so that's worked out brilliantly for Bomber Sanford. Looking at another fantastic result, so fair play to him, but a long way to go yet. We did just cross half distance after all, but keeps on like this, there should be no reason to believe, because he's avoided trouble everywhere else so far, no reason to believe he can't go on and well, maybe carve out quite a lonely race for him actually in the end if things go well. But speaking of, again, let's see if Focky will try. He's not got a lot of ERS to burn, and that's for where the difference between he and Caesar lies. And he might have just have enough speed anyways. Let's see then, DRS wide open, and Caesar then is going to let it happen. 0 deployment, of course, as the first instant Focky can get, he's also going to put it down there as well. And there's a couple of guys looking to make overtakes there behind. DJ Williams behind Psychic. Just want to see if this develops into anything further before we switch away. He's leaving it in medium, so I don't think we're going to expect to see the move there. But here we go then. Oh, Psychic into the wall. He's clipped it massively. He's lucky not to have absolutely burst his tyre off the suspension. And we're going to go 3 wide, but it's not going to be 3 wide for long, as Stevie G trying to overtake DJ Williamson as well. That's for P7. Psychic's going to have to come into the pits then. DJ Williamson goes defensive, got to force the long way round for Stevie G. Can he get a switch back? He's going to get a good run heading down towards turn 2, but I think he just thinks better of it, or would rather have DRS heading down towards turn 3. Nice clean exit there for the Renault driver, and DRS open. Pretty even in that regard. DJ Williamson goes defensive. Terrible camera angles, and he's going to let, well, Stevie G later on the brakes there, but the Renault then moves up into P7 on those mediums, gets off after Jesse, who's actually managed to somewhat recover here to P6. If you can get those tyres at the end, he'll be doing well. But P6 for Jesse after what happened wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Oh, big lock up there, and Caesar into the wall, and that hit his wing flying. So there goes his chances of attacking Focky to take that P2 back. Gosh, I got onto that just in time, didn't I? That worked out well. Not for Caesar, unfortunately, and we are robbed of a battle for P2 as a result. Now I wonder, what will he do? If he pits, he should easily and comfortably emerge in at least P6, if not P5. He's going to carry on. Clouds are beginning to swarm here as well, which is interesting. There's still a bit of patches of blue sky, but that is also something to keep an eye on. I don't think it looked this way as well for Division 2 as well, I believe, and I don't think nothing came of that. So that's unfortunate. That's really our closest battle on track at the moment. Was that? So we'll go on board for P11 here. Battle for P11. Ivor Bryn Mike and Cygate. Of course, Cygate is coming out on those fresh mediums, so this shouldn't be too much of a difficulty. Gets a good run on the better tyres, heading out of the slingshot section, and opens the DRS. Ooh, close there. A bit of contact, but thankfully no accident. See, Ivor Bryn Mike has got a bit of wing damage, and that is Cygate into P11 then. He is 12 seconds back of Invictus, so unless any retirements happen in front, that could be it for Cygate in terms of positions gained, but we'll have to see. Still a long way to go yet, but I guess it's kind of calmed down this race. If you're watching on YouTube, hello. I'm just trying to catch up some of these some of these comments. Oh, what's happened here? Well, more pain for Iver Mike into again, not for the first time. He's off the runoff area into turn 3 there. Penalty for unsafe release, 5 seconds for track limits. He must have cut turn 15. Would be my guess. He is falling further behind. Bomber Sanford, and this is the thing I'm interested to see, because Caesar has made a decision here to carry on, which I understand. There's a podium here to lose if he pits, which he absolutely will lose if he pits. But can Bomber Sanford make up that 11 and a half seconds and closing all the time? Can he make up that gap in these last 10 laps, including the one they're on? Fresher tyres. Looks like a full... Let's just check and see he's not got wing damage. No, looks all intact to me. I'll have to see. I mean, not a lot else going on. Just quick, there's your stop situation. 3 stops there for King Alex and Tom Chad. 2 for Cygate, 2 for his teammate Stevie G, and 2 for Jetty, who's still in 6th place there. He might catch up to unsafe release, never know. Let's just check if he has any damage. No, looks all there visually. There's your position changes. Again, Bomber Sanford, big winner there, as you would guess. From Sanford P16. Synchronizer up a few spots as well. P19, of course, he was disqualified in qualifying. So unfortunate for him. But he's in the points paying positions at the moment. Not quite as high as his teammate Focky, but there you go then. That's our situation. Now, let's just check. I want to check the lap times here between Caesar and Bomber Sanford when they come across the line. Again, nothing else going on the track, so we may as well have a look at this. A 1:45.3. This looks like a personal best actually for Bomber Sanford. 45.3 for Caesar, and a 1:43.6. That was 1.9 seconds quicker. So there you go. It's not so, you can argue it's not even so much the corners that it kills Caesar, but it's more so if he has to lift off through the slingshot section. That is going to be what has to kill him. Is going to really dent his pace. I think that's where he's losing. Let's just, I mean, look at me. So have a look at this. So I'll check the sector times. Sector 3, 25. So high 24s, low 25s. Very on par, really. 43 and 42. So it's mostly it's actually sector 2. I guess this bit would be the bit. So not so much through turn 8, but these bits here. More than half lock there, running wide, understeer. Does he have to lift through this part as well? No, he's flat through there. And naturally flat through here as well. I guess this corner would be a kicker as well, turn 15. So I was just trying to pinpoint some of these areas where he's have to struggle a bit more. Oh, that was tough right there, you can see there. I have turn 16, that was rough. See how much that downforce is affecting him. His lines are nice enough that he doesn't have to lift off through that part of the track, so at least there's that much. Yeah, I mean, he's at 8.4 seconds, very comfortable. He's got a penalty, so even then he's fine. Focky then 3 seconds ahead of that, so not a lot else. 2.1 between Synchronizer and DJ Williamson on similar tyres. I mean, this could get closer between Jetty and unsafe release, but I think the tyres are not going to allow Jetty to really reel unsafe release in, but he does have a penalty, does unsafe release. Worth bearing that in mind. I mean, we may as well look at this, right? Battle for P13. Points for grabs, of course, if you didn't know TMC's new points paying system. Points for everyone who finishes. So it gives an incentive to finish. Oh, but he's into the barrier. It's Tom Chad, I do apologise. And I wonder if it's been a pretty torrid race for the Racing Point driver. I wonder if he'll soldier on. Ooh, I have to get on the brakes big time there. Damage on both sides. Castle section will do that to you. I That's a 4. I may as well see if he what he decides to do. Again, very spread out. I am still in disbelief of how this race has transpired. Well, the start of the race was pretty hectic for incidents, but not as many, I believe, as other divisions. And after that, very few incidents of people are kind of on their own that kind of resulted in DNFs. No full course safety cars. I think Division 3 has put on the show in terms of how to actually drive properly around a racetrack at this track. I think Division 1 and 2 should be ashamed of themselves for how things unfolded in that division. Let's see if Tom Chad decides to retire or if he will soldier on. He could still go for fastest lap, to be fair. This is coming down, this gap between Unsafe Release and Jetty. Wing looks fine for Unsafe Release, just Jetty's got that much more pace at the moment on those tyres. So that gap is coming down, as is the one between Bomber Sanford and Caesar, but it's not coming down quick enough. Yellow flag. Oh, that's Ivory Mike again. That's the third time he's lost it coming out of heading out of turn 3. He's just gone deep. I don't know if he's using no ABS, but it's just cooked it. Here we go then. DRS then enabled on the back. Oh, he's yellow flag at sector 2. Who was that for? It's Toro Rosso there who's come to a stop. That was King Alex. It looks like he'd lost it coming out of the castle section. So he just gets by just okay, but everyone else should be fine as well with a gap over 9 seconds between Heated and Focky then. So, excuse me, yeah, battle for P5 then. Just a matter of patience really for Jetty. Just no need to rush or force anything. This move is basically a done deal, just as long as he doesn't whack into the wall at turn 15. It's the only thing standing between him and P5. Again, the clouds beginning to loom over. The sunshine's definitely gone. But it would have to lash down for any potential rain to be in effect in this race. I don't think it's going to be really an issue. Here we go then. Going to see some change for position finally in the top 5. Overtaker mode enabled. DRS momentarily open. There we go, and this will be a fairly straightforward move. The sister car of the Toro Rosso getting through on the Red Bull of Unsafe Release, and that is Jetty then into P5. And considering all that's happened, well, maybe I've seen worse results from having accidents at Baku. So it's a shame because his pace obviously was pretty strong, but he went very late on his first stint, and then immediately afterwards crashed into the wall of turn 2. So there's a good chance he could have been like, well, I mean, a good chance he was going to be right up there with Heated, Focky, Caesar, all those. But yeah, there you go. That's the price you must pay for having an accident around here. The gap is fairly large. There it is, and 30 seconds. It's the gap between Unsafe Release and Heated. 21 between Bomber Sanford and Heated then. So that gap isn't really coming down enough between Caesar and Bomber Sanford. So Caesar's done well to kind of try to minimize the damage, decide that, yeah, I can survive on my own out here if I just be careful. And you know what, his pace has actually been pretty good. I know Focky can just, you know, turn everything down basically, but like Caesar's still just over 3 seconds behind Focky, despite having that wing damage. I think his pace is pretty solid, considering what he has to deal with. Now, I wouldn't risk anything, but his lines are absolutely fine. Doesn't have to lift off the throttle, he's not losing that much time. He is losing time to Bomber Sanford, but not as much as I thought he may. So excellent pace there from Caesar, given his circumstances. So good job from him. He's going to hold on to that podium, it seems. If things carry on as they are, as Tom Chadden sets the fastest lap of the race, hop across the curb there for Synchronizer, but he's going slow enough that it wouldn't have propelled him into that barrier there. But he is closing in on DJ Williamson. That was within DRS there, but I think that actually that trip across that curve has disrupted his progress somewhat, and he's not going to have DRS heading down this lap. He's not got a lot of ERS to boot, whereas DJ Williamson has all the ERS he needs, and that'll be a gap that will continue to increase down this straight. I thought I saw raindrops for a second there. It doesn't look like it. Tom Chadden moving past. There is raindrops. I'm pretty sure that's raindrops. Yeah, rain is falling at Baku. Wow, maybe some late drama then. How much will this affect things, if anything? It's a long lap, so that definitely will help the rain settle a bit more. So maybe one last spanner in the works for the drivers to contend with. I think we're pretty clear of safety cars at this point. I think I've seen safety cars come out at this range and come in with a lap or two to go, but I think we're safe from that. So really, it's a matter of well, will the changed braking zones catch anyone out? This rain's coming down pretty fast. VSC is out. That'll only allow the rain to settle even further. What was that VSC out for? Maybe I thought maybe Albon was coming out of the wall there. Everyone else seems okay, but this rain is going to take hold. We could see intermediate conditions. Now, is it worth coming to the pit stops to to change out the inters? Probably not. Although Focky's coming in. Wow. Focky then is taking the dive. Caesar as well. Ooh, fascinating. I don't think they make this under VSC. If this isn't under VSC, I don't think they make this stop. But this is timed out perfectly. Caesar's wing is being changed. Now they have 30 seconds to make up on heated, so 4 laps, including the one they're on to do so. But we are green flag racing. That's worked out brilliantly for Focky, really, in terms of timing. Now DRS has not been disabled, I don't think. Everyone else coming in, Bomber Sanford, Jetty, so the conditions have changed very, very quickly. Unsafe release is serving his stop-go. So conditions are changing very, very quickly. Let's see the sector times. Now this will take into account with the VSC this lap, so yellow flag sector 1. Is anyone into the wall? This doesn't look like it. Fascinating twist here to end this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Track has gotten wet extremely quickly. I think Inters are going to be the tires to be on. Fascinating stuff. Now, how much can Focky make up before he gets to the pits? He's going to make up more. Is that gap going to be under 20 seconds? Surely, will it? Just inching, tiptoeing their way across. So Invictus comes into the pits then, as well as Synchronizer then. So Sidegate's carried on, it looks like. Oh, this is going to be close. Could this VSC played right into Focky's hands? Of course, Heated has got a 3-second penalty as well. That is worth bearing in mind. If DRS was disabled, I missed the notification, but surely it's the only option here. No, he's carrying on. Wow. So he's going to carry on then. Again, nothing really doing on track in terms of... Oh, Judy Mac. King Alex is out. He's actually lost the rear suspension there. The tyre's underneath the car. So he lost it then coming out of the slingshot section now. I don't think safety cars will come out because it's just... car's in the middle of the track, but it's too late in terms of picking it out. So that's fascinating then. Heated then is stayed out. He's got 3 laps to go to try and see this out. The rain continues to fall. What is the sector time? Because the sector time, again, just because the DRS isn't disabled doesn't mean it's the right time to pit. Did I say that right? It doesn't mean it's the right time to pit. You need to look at the sector times each lap. And so if you're getting to that, well, if you're basically 3 or 4 seconds slower in the first sector, that is time to come in. And as you can see here, Heated has misplayed this one, I'm afraid. He's 9 seconds slower in the first sector. The track clearly far too wet. Where is Cygate? He's 9 seconds slower. Yep. So generally speaking, if you're 7-8 seconds a lap slower in the wet, and even if the DRS has not been disabled, that is your cue to come in. Let's just have a check. Yeah, I must have missed it. My apologies if I missed it. But yeah, DRS doesn't look like it is in effect. I'm not sure when that was disabled. If anyone in the comments saw that, please tell me, because I missed it. Oh, into the wall goes Heated. And yeah, if there wasn't any other sign, apart from the billowing rain, that the tyres are not the correct ones, that would have been it. So, fascinating. So, okay, so we can try and wrap our heads around this. The obviously intermediate conditions would have been in play regardless of whether VSC came out. I think the VSC helped accelerate people's decisions to change onto the tyres, even if the exact moment as Heated went by wasn't the right moment to change onto intermediates. The next lap definitely would have, but the VSC definitely accelerated the decisions, and that has helped Focky and Caesar and others into positions. And that is Focky then, who definitely wasn't the quickest today, but he got it perfectly, and well, there you go. He's going to win this race, it seems. Flag sector 2 doesn't look like anything's doing, so that will put Bomber Sanford into a podium paying position, and Caesar is right there as well. Of course, he will have used that 7 seconds to change his front wing, so he's running with full downforce now, but he's actually not, because he's actually had a crash somewhere. He definitely replaced it at the pit stops, I definitely saw it, but he has since damaged it, and Bomber Sanford can go for second place here. That must have just happened. I must have missed. That must have just happened for Caesar, but he is really struggling. Second to last lap, and so the drama is set to continue here. Bomber Sanford need not make any rash decision. But he's got second place right there in front of him, and all he has to do is bide his time carefully. The rain is really billowing it down now. I can't imagine we're too far from full wet conditions, but no point changing tyres at this stage of the race to meet those conditions. Caesar just tiptoeing his way through, just desperate to avoid another penalty for Heated there, so he's in P4, but a few penalties are coming his way, it seems. Tricky conditions here, but we've still got 14 drivers. Oh, into the barrier goes Caesar. He's still got his tyre on though, but he's missing his entirety of his front wing. And again, tiptoeing is Bomber Sanford. Would have seen, of course, that Ferrari spill into the wall. He's going to have to make a... Will Caesar make a pit stop is the question. He's going to have to, surely. Or will he just continue to limp it out for one more lap? He might lose third to Heated, but Jetty he might still be safe from. We'll see. As there goes Bomber Sanford. He moves up into P2, has to try and squeeze through, and he will. Oh, Caesar's going to fight it though. Overtake mode enabled, but he's not going to have any downforce to fight it side by side. So Caesar's going to limp it out this one last lap. He'd be a fool to fight this though. He can't defend this for any more than one corner. There it is then. Bomber with a full front wing slicing through then to take position 2. So this race was indeed chaotic, but less chaotic, but for different reasons than I think we were expecting. But Focky will just run through. Again, I won't say he looked into this one, because obviously he avoided everything else that was thrown at him, but maybe that's how it works. Sometimes the fastest driver doesn't necessarily win. Heated was in control of this race, but made the wrong decision. I guess he was also unlucky in the sense that he was so far ahead that he was... I guess he was unlucky in the sense that he was so far ahead that I'm sure he would have pitted under a VSC had that worked out as it did for Focky and Caesar. But look, timing is unfortunately, very important in terms of choosing your strategy, choosing your drive, the real F1, and it just worked out for Focky today. So here he comes then, heading down. Again, no one else is kind of really close to each other, so we're going to stick with this. He was a leading contender for this race to begin with. He was going to be set for a podium, but and Caesar's out of this race. There he goes. The wing damage too much to bear, and he has succumbed on the final lap. And now promote Heated into a podium position. But Focky then dodged everything thrown at him today, and the timing was perfect of the VSC for a switch to intermediate tyres. He wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Bomber Sanford is going to come through in second place from P16. He's going to take a podium finish. I'm not sure if that's his first in TMC. If it is, wow, what a race to do it. Congratulations to him. A fantastic result for Bomber Sanford. He finishes in second place. Heated is somehow going to get himself a podium here in third place. I can imagine he'll be happy enough given the circumstances, but I'm sure disappointed at the same time that luck wasn't on his side with the VSC coming out when it did. Jesse then is going to finish in fourth place. If he's actually done well to recover from his incident earlier on unsafely, so across the line in fifth place ahead of Stevie G in sixth, and of course unsafely served his penalty, so no harm done there. DJ Williamson is going to navigate this last section. Mike has finished the race a lap down. Tom Chad will be doing the same here in a second, just behind DJ Williamson here. He's a lap down. So he'll finish in 7th place. Synchronizer then will cross the line in 8th. There it is. For DJ Williamson, Invictus then will finish in 9th. Alba Anderson will round out 10th, and then Cygate will come across as the last unlapped car to finish in 11th place. Whew. Wow, what a race that was. Fair play to Division 3. They put on the best race in terms of etiquette, I suppose, and general skill out of their 3 divisions. So again, fair play to them. Yeah, wow. Strategies then, very interesting indeed. That VSC really, I wonder when people would have pitted had that VSC not come out, because obviously intermediates were the right tyre to be on. But I wonder when people would have come into the pits for that one. Yeah, interesting. But there you go. There is your race, and 2 in a row it seems for Focky. Taking top step for Haas once again. And there you go. Flanked by Bomber Sanfer, who of course is the driver of the day, and then Heated in. To be fair, Heated, I think, like, his pace was race winning. There's no doubt about it. He was in clear control. So I mean that can bode well for him going forward. So I'm sure, I guess in that sense, he'll be pretty disappointed that the race unfolded as it did. But let's run through these results one more time, just to round out then. So Focky wins ahead of Bomber Sanfer in 2nd place. Heated then in 3rd, ahead of Jetty in 4th. Unsafe Release in 5th place, 36 seconds behind. Even Jetty was 35 seconds behind, so it shows you the how things transpired in the end. A minute then was the gap between DJ Williamson, but in front of him was Stevie G, Synchronizer 8th, Invictus 9th, and Alba Anderson in 10th. Who got fastest lap actually? We need to check that. 43.32, 43 flat, 42.4. CG might have got that. 41.5 for Tom Chad. That's going to be it actually. So Tom Chad gets the fastest lap of the race there in P14. So, wow, there you go. There is your lot for round 2 of the Masters Championship in Division 3. Next up on the calendar is the Hungarian Grand Prix. So starting on Tuesday with Division 1. So hope to see you then.